Hello guys, Rohit here again. Today we are here to solve a new problem in interview bit on the concept of arrays. So today we are solving this kth row of Pascal's triangle sum, which is asked previously in Google. So actually I took a lot of time to solve this question because I left my system without closing and I went out on important work. So it took a lot of time, so I'm sorry for that. I'm gonna solve for you it again. So what basically the problem is saying is you'll be provided with an integer k which has a value 1 2 3 0 maybe 0 1 2 3. So you are required to return the result as 0th row, maybe the kth row of a Pascal's triangle. So first of all, we are required to know what's a Pascal's triangle is. So Pascal's triangle is of something of this sort. So one, two, one, one, three, three, one, one, four, six, four, one. Okay, and it goes on. Okay. So what this is doing is, if you can observe, one is 11 past zero. So this one is 11 power one. This 121 is 11 square. This 1331 is 11 cube. This 14641 is 11 power 4. So here how are you going to get this sequence, we are not actually doing the 11 power 4 11 power 5 thing because we are required to submit it as an individual element, like the array must be something of this sort. So I will write the next sequence, what it will happen. So it's 5 10 10 5 1. So if you observe carefully, so here every row is starting with 1 and ending with 1. The middle element is the sum of these two elements. 1 plus 1 is 2. See again, the third row starting with 1 ending with 1. 1 plus 2 is 3. Similarly 2 plus 1 is again 3. So if you go to the next row, 1 starting with 1 ending with 1. 1 plus 3 is 4. 3 plus 3 is 6. 1 plus 3 is 4. Again 1. So the sequence goes something like this. So uh, actually if you go through brute forcing method, like finding each and every element and adding these both and pushing into the array, it might be somewhat cumbersome. So let's apply a different logic. Okay, the logic goes something like this. If you can observe, the first value is 1. Okay, so upon here in the kth row, so here k value is 4. K value is 4. So 1, if you multiply by 4 and if you divide by 1, okay, this turns out to be 4. Okay, now we are taking this element 4, the second element 4, and we are multiplying it by 3 by 2. Okay, this turns out to be 6. You can observe what we are doing is, so this is the value of k by 1. It is basically starting with 1, and for the next, to obtain the next value, you are reducing the number numerator by 1. So it is becoming 2, and you are increasing the denominator by 1. So this turns out to be 6. Now we are considering the value 6. So 6 is getting multiplied by 3 minus 3 minus 1, which is 2, by 2 plus 1. The denominator is getting increased by 1, so 2 by 3, so which is nothing but 4. And the last element is 1. So the last element and first element are known to us, so we are not using loop to insert these elements. We are then we are like manually inserting these elements, but for the elements in the middle we are gonna use this logic. So basically we are required to uh, return an dynamic array which is of type int, so I'm declaring it as result. Okay, and we are required to return the result. Okay, return result. So initially first element is always 1, so I am pushing the value 1. So result dot push back of 1. Okay, now say for example if k equal to 0, Here itself I am checking if k equal to 0, then you are required to return the result. The result is now already containing the value 1, so we are just returning it. So whenever you are returning a value in a function, so automatically the function gets terminated. It's not like a generator in which it will have a yield statement. Okay, if you know in Python, so yield statement will run for many iterations, whereas in the functions, so whenever there is a one return statement, after that the function stops executing. Like unless until and unless it's an recursive, we are applying a recursive logic. So if k equal to 0, k equal 0, we are returning the result which has a value 1 inside it. So else, we are not required to write else because this acts like a break statement. So what is the logic we are going to apply? I am declaring a int I equal to 1. So why am I starting from 1? As we already know, the first element we have pushed is 1. So we are going to implement from the second element, right? So from second element till I less than k, semicolon, I plus plus. Okay. If you can see, the logic is being applied for this is I equal to 1, I equal to 2, and I equal to 3. So till I equals to 3, which is less than 4, which is just less than 4. So the condition must be I less than k. Okay, I am considering the value to be inserted as int val equals to, which must be equals to already result existing from the result, the previous value we are required to take, right? So for obtaining the second value we are taking the first value. So this must be I minus 1, which is being multiplied by k plus 1 minus I, if you can see. Okay, every time I value increases, the numerator gets decreased. Okay, so as I is starting with 1, I am adding k plus 1 here, and this whole must be divided by value I, which is increasing. So this total value is going into our result array. So I'm pushing it into the result array, the val. Okay, here again it happens till here, the n minus second element. Now for the n minus 1 element we are again required to push the value 1. As we know, in this sequence every row has the first and last element as 1. So this is our code. So let's test the out. Let's test it. Let's see what will happen. Okay. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry for this. There must be a semicolon. Yeah. Success. Yeah. So let's submit the code. Yep. It's a success. So that's it for this video, guys. Don't forget to subscribe my channel, like the video, and share the video if you like the content. For more content like this, please subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications. Thank you.